Alright, I'm just going to show you my finished lid. You can see that on the background of the lid itself, the textures are still there to add some of the dimension before adding on the details. And then there's even more texture in all the details that help add dimension. To make the suckers, I used the ends of various size tools to create the indentations. And then you can see on the seashell, there's also some texture. I created these indentions in the shell with this rubber tool, and I created texture with this rubber mat. On the starfish itself, you can see that there's various textures. I used this little tool to add lines into the top of the starfish, and I used this little stamp that I made during the first week to create the center. I also re-emphasized the swirl in the center of the starfish by creating these different swirls using this little rubber tool. So there you can see all the various details and see it from a distance so you can see everything together. One of the things you'll notice is that the suckers go all the way around, and I had the tentacle kind of do this little curling so you can actually see the tiny little suckers coming around on the other side of the starfish. Alright, so just to show you a little bit more of the details on how I made the tentacles for the handle and around the spout, you can see first of all the shape of the tentacle and how the suckers are all on the outside, because I thought that was the more interesting detail rather than having the other side of the tentacle out. I used the pencil bottom for the largest shape, the bottom of this tool for the medium size. I use this for the small ones, and for the really tiny holes, I actually used just the top of a pencil and made little swirling motions. I also have texture on the other side. I used this tool and I just kind of went back and forth to create indentions into the tentacle on the other side so it would look more realistic. And I even created texture that's hard to see in the video by stabbing the clay with this rough brush, and so it left tiny little holes that added extra detail. After I made the handle on the lid, I realized it was easier to add the suckers once I actually had them in place. So here on the spout, you can see I haven't quite finished the suckers because I'm adding them after adding the tentacle. Alright, so I wanted to go over some of the details that I've added after doing the tentacles. The first was the slip trailing that you saw. I created a lot of the branching type of coral because I like the really fine details that you get because they have so many tiny little branches that come off of them. And then with the slip, I also created these fatter coral, and I actually used a pencil to make little indentations for them for the texture that I'm hoping will show up well when they dry. You can see I did that as well. On the other side, I wanted to repeat various coral life around the entire teapot to create a sense of unity. And then you can see some of the other things that I've added, like the jellyfish, and then these little fish that I've made out of some flat slabs. And then there's even this other type of plant life here. I'm really trying to look at coral reefs and get as many different plant life and animal life that I can find that live there to incorporate a nice variety of what would be seen in the coral reef. So you can see some of the other details I've added, like the seashell and the sea turtle and some more coral and plant life.